What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here coming at you today with Q&A number 72. So as per usual guys, today's questions are brought to you by my good friend Dark84 for all your Yu-Gi-Oh needs. And this week Dark has 5 questions for me, so I'll get straight into them. 1. Can you believe it's been nearly 7 years since Lynx came into the game? Yes, I can believe it's nearly been 7 years, considering it's also been nearly 7 years since I started YouTubing. I remember that Lynx came out right around the point when I started to become a YouTuber, so yes, I could very easily believe it's been that amount of time, but how time has flown in that. 2. Do you think Link Monsters and Master Rule 4 should ever have been a thing? So naturally that Master Rule came in as a way to nerf Pendulum because Konami realised they made it too broken of a mechanic. And as a Pendulum player, I can completely agree it was a bit too broken of a mechanic. The existence of Link Monsters just kind of balanced it out. So, and now we've got much more diverse meta, though that being said, I think they may have nerfed Pendulum a bit too much for them to be able to come back, but every now and then Pendulum still makes appearances when they bring out some new supports. I'm still currently drafting off my new Endymion variant with the recent banlist because I think it's now got a solid chance of doing well. I'm going to test it out in tonight's tournament, so we'll see how it goes. But overall, yeah, while there have been various Link Monsters where Konami has realised, yeah, we should not have made this a thing, overall, the existence of Link Monsters I found has been quite interesting. They've thrown in different kinds of strategies and mechanics involving Link Monsters, so I'm quite happy with their existence. And yes, I know at the time when it came out, everyone was like, when Master Rule 4 came out, everyone was like, oh no, my deck can't play because I can't spam multiple extra trick monsters without playing Lynx. Yeah, well here's a news flash for everyone. That's pretty much how everyone whose deck gets hit by the ban list feels. And you know what they do? They get over the fact that they've lost their degenerate thing that they were doing, and they find some new degenerate thing that they can do. That's basically how this game works. When you lose one strategy, you just try a new one. Whether it's better, worse, more or less degenerate, that's on you. But that's the thing, the game's just a learning experience. And it's always good to being able to test out new and different strategies. Pendulum and Endymion have been hit so many times within the ban list, I constantly have to keep coming up with new ideas of stuff to play, and I really enjoy the experience. So, yeah, by default, get over it! 3. What if there was a fusion of Endymion the Master Magician and Endymion the Mighty Master of Magic? I mean, there is. I invented it. It's sitting in my binder. So it's already there. But if you're thinking in terms of Endymion, if Konami created an official version of this, I think that could be quite interesting. For me, it would depend on what it does. So for my guess is if they combine the two together, potentially a fusion pendulum. I'm assuming it would have an effect of removing 6 spell counters to summon itself from somewhere. Considering it's a fusion and a pendulum, they're probably not going to give it the condition that it can summon itself face down from the extra deck, because that's a bit too broken. Maybe if it was face up in the extra deck or in the pendulum zone, they might throw in that 6 spell counter condition. But then again, for a pendulum effect of removing 6 spells to summon itself and then do something, that's kind of the same as Mighty Master. So yeah, maybe if it's face up in the extra deck, it could do that. But the idea could be quite interesting. I doubt it would be a thing because Mighty Master has just essentially power crept the original one out of being used. I thought about using it when it first came out, but I just discovered Mighty Master is better and it just wasn't needed. 4. I remember when you ran Megaton Magical Cannon in either your Mythical Beast or Endymion deck. I forget which deck. It was in Mythical Beasts. I remember that. Did you ever resolve it? Trying to think back on it, I'm not sure. I think I may have resolved it once, but back then it was so difficult to do. At the time, like 10 spell counters was not easy to do, and I wasn't always in the best position of like, I could remove 10 spell counters to nuke my opponent's board, but in a pure Mythical Beast variant, I'm like, depending on how much of my board my opponent's got, I can just like, yeah, but for like 4 spell counters, I could just use Master Cerberus to banish the monster and gain the attack. I can activate Garuda in scale to just pop the back row. Is it really worth me using the 10? So yeah, I did think I was able to do it once. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to backtrack through all my videos, but from what I've checked, they're quite long videos, so that would take me a while to figure it out. Part of me has been thinking I could potentially bring it back now, but you know, for 6 spell counters, Mighty Master kind of just does the same thing with the right amount of resources. But part of me was thinking another reason I could attempt to bring it back is because it is a normal spell card, so potential. And with the existence now of Selene, where it's very easy to generate a high number of spell counters, like because Tactics Thrust is a thing, I could just search an absolute nuke to my opponent if I've got enough spell counters. So it's a tempting thought, but as I said, Mighty Master kind of just does a better thing for it. So hard to say if I would bring it back or not, but the idea of that in mind, that's because I have Triple Tactics Thrust, makes it rather tempting. I will have a think about that. And question 5. Some of the guys are hyping 5D's era and its anime. While there are those like myself who prefer DM and GX, which of these do you prefer? I'm referring to both the era and the anime. So, anime-wise, I will always love the original series over any of the other ones. Though in comparison between 5Ds and GX, I'm much more of a fan of 5D. I much prefer 5Ds as an era, because I was really into Black Wings, and Turbo Duels I really enjoyed watching as well, so that was really good. In terms of the era itself, in actual TCG, I'd probably have to say more towards GX, on this primary reason I didn't really play very much during the times of Synchro, because I think when Synchro was around, I was like in the middle of my GCSEs, so I wasn't really playing the game very much. So yeah, probably I'd be more towards GX in terms of when I was playing the game, but 5Ds for when I was actually watching it as a series. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have today, so thank you very much, Dark Magician 84, for your questions. Very amusing as always. And if anyone else has any questions for me, I do these Q&As every Wednesday, UK time, morning or afternoon, depending on my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.